Chair, and I do want to state the fact that we do look forward to seeing the Infrastructure Minister coming here on December 6th, and I'm sure that discussion can then be continued with Mr. Champagne. Secondly, I do want to take this opportunity to thank the committee for especially our Liberal colleagues, as well as Mr. Genereux, Mr. Lippert, Mr. Oban of the Conservative and NDP party for coming down to Niagara and recognizing the Niagara-Hamilton trade corridor and, of course, the assets that are attached to the same. We are within a one-day's drive of over 44% of North America's annual income. New York, Baltimore, Washington, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, in the Ohio area, Cleveland, over to Toledo, as well as Detroit, Chicago, Indiana, and of course back into Ontario with the GTA and Montreal. And with that, how robust it has, continues to be, and will be, especially with the investments that we're looking at making within that trade corridor. So with that, Madam Chair, I do want to ask the Minister that with all the work that's being done with all the partners throughout Niagara-Hamilton, some of the investments that are being made, including the one you announced Saturday in Hamilton, what are your expectations for us as we work within that team down in Niagara-Hamilton with respect to strengthening our Niagara-Hamilton trade corridor?
Well, thank you for your question, Mr. Badawey. I think that there is a strong potential in the Niagara Peninsula to, because we're talking about a very large density of population in Canada that is in that area, and there is a great deal of trade that is done not only by truck crossing the border, but also by the use of the St. Lawrence Seaway, which is something that we feel is at the moment underexploited. So there's tremendous potential in that area, and there is, I think, growth potential with respect to port activity, with respect to the seaway activity, and with respect to trade corridors that are on land. And I would hope that we can continue to work with your implication and those of your colleagues to identify where we can spend money wisely to grow that capability. At the same time, always, of course, taking into account that you know, we have to look at all the other factors like the environment and things like that. But I think there is potential there that has not been exploited. We were delighted to make that announcement at the Port of Hamilton, which I think is good news for the Port of Hamilton, and I congratulate them on their forward-looking vision in terms of growth.
Thank you. Mr. Graham, do you have a very short question?